Long term, how do you see that developing? Will there be a role for standalone clubs? What are the benefits and what are the drawbacks for those clubs?
Unfortunately, kind of the feeling that we get and kind of the whispers is that the league structures that we mentioned that are changing and stuff, that they don't particularly want the standalone clubs because they can see the benefit of the crossover of fans and stuff like that. But I think that's a real shame when you have a club like Peamount who have put women's football to the forefront. I think to in any way discourage something like that is a little bit silly. And it's becoming harder and harder for us to exist because we don't automatically, again, attract the bigger sponsors and things like that there is a crossover with the men's team. So I don't think there's going to be a huge future of new teams coming into the league as standalone clubs. I do think there will probably need to be an affiliation with the men's team to come in and make a mark in a big way, because like having a big name and having structures that you can offer straight off the bat is a huge advantage. And we saw that with Rovers this year. And it's brilliant. They should have had a women's team, and it's brilliant that they do. And possibly more League of Ireland clubs need to do that. But in saying that, it makes it easy for a club like Peamount to be pushed aside and say, sure, why didn't you join a men's team and stuff like that? But it's kind of head versus heart. It's like, do you just cast aside tradition in favour of what's kind of easiest? And that's something I think that we obviously struggled with, and we wanted to keep the Peamount name, and we've been successful this year, but it's going to get harder and harder. But it's getting harder for teams generally across the league to retain players. I think, again, it's an easy thing for higher ups to say, possibly girls who are ambitious playing on the senior international team, that they need to be playing full-time professional. I'd be a big advocate of a lot of girls staying and getting an education, and I'd love to see more promotion of the league and possibly an under-21 team to kind of bridge that gap, because the international girls are household names now, and if we had those within the league, we would get more attendances and things like that. So I think there's a big gap there generally, and yeah, it's going to keep getting harder to keep girls in the league, and possibly having more men's teams and having more supporters will garner more interest. So yeah, I don't really know what the future holds for a team like Peamount, but all we could do this year was work really hard and, you know, just fight to show that there's brilliant talent coming up, and hopefully that's sustainable. But without support from the outside, it's going to be kind of hard to see how it will be.